That's a pretty good question. The pros and cons of a vinyl replacement window is vinyl's energy efficient, it's maintenance free, and it's easy to clean, which that sounds stellar to answer most people's window problems. The downside is vinyl on its own is a weak material, structurally speaking, and it has a tendency to bow and sag over time. Doesn't happen overnight, not trying to say it like that, but it really does happen. The bigger the window, the sooner the problem. If the window faces west or south and gets a lot of heat from the sun, again, heat is the enemy of vinyl, the sooner the problem. And when the frames warp and sag from their original form, nothing aligns properly, so the window becomes difficult to open and close. It won't lock right, it doesn't shut tight, it doesn't seal, and it just doesn't perform like when it was new. Probably like the windows we're replacing now. When they were new, they were better, but after a few years, they don't work right. And so the downside to a vinyl window is, after a few years, it doesn't work like it should. The other downside is most vinyl windows have lifetime warranties, but they have so many exclusions and limitations and prorations that after just a few years, if something goes wrong, there's really no coverage to speak of. And so that's the pros and cons of a vinyl window. Well, so that's your statement's accurate and not accurate. You can get really cheap vinyl windows. I mean, they're really, really cheap vinyl windows. And that's what people that flip homes put in their house. They're looking for a very cheap solution, put them in, it's good enough right now to sell it, but they're not gonna stay and live with those. But you can get really expensive vinyl windows too, and homeowners think, wow, I've spent a lot more on these vinyl windows, so they're surely gonna last longer. And they might have better components or better locks and or glass technology, but it's still a vinyl frame window, and it doesn't matter if you get the highest end vinyl window or the lowest end vinyl window. Vinyl's affected by heat, and it's gonna warp and misshape from its original form, and they're all gonna have the same issues. There's a lot of answers to that question. So it depends on all kinds of things. The size of the window, the style of the window, if it faces west, if it faces south, if it gets a lot of heat, how big the opening is. And then the other part is, what color is the window? Because darker colors trap heat. And so, like most vinyl window companies try to sell white and beige, lighter colors, less heat trappage, but they're going, because everybody wants black windows or bronze windows now, they're going to darker colors. And when you put those in, you're just putting in that much sooner of a window problem, because they're going to be affected by the heat that much sooner. Generally speaking, with replacement windows, they're custom built. And so no matter what company you go with, they have to be made. They don't exist. And so depending on their supply chain and their material availability, you usually get something like that in a few short weeks. Then it's a matter of getting it scheduled with the home improvement company, because they've got, in most cases, subcontractors that install it. In my case, we have employee installers, so I have a little more control there. But I was gonna say, typically, and it takes 8 weeks. Now in the pandemic world, with supply chain issues and stuff like that, oh, Katie barred the door. It could be, it could be 12 to 14 weeks before you get rectangle windows, which, windows made at right angles, specialty shaped windows, curved windows, arch windows, circles, half rounds, things like that. Oh man, they take even longer. They can be 20 weeks to 25 weeks before you get them. It's crazy. So, but when you get them in, again, with us, we have employee installers, so I get them turned around faster than waiting for a sub to quit working for this guy to come install for me. My guys all work for me all the time.